Hello everyone, this is R.S. Miller at the endtimenews.org and today is October 3rd, 2013. This is your Fast Track Report. Egypt is in the process of drawing up plans to launch strikes on Gaza terror targets. In the first threat of its kind, Egypt security officials on Thursday warned that the military has drafted plans for attacking targets in the Gaza Strip, which are to be carried out should there be an escalation in violence against Egyptian forces in Sinai by terror groups operating from the Hamas-controlled Palestinian territory. The warning came as masked gunmen shot and injured 3 Egyptian soldiers in the northern Sinai Peninsula Thursday morning. The commander of Egypt's Second Army, General Ahmed Wasfi, said Wednesday that the Egyptian military's patience with jihadists in the Gaza Strip was wearing thin. Military sources told Palestinian Mayan news agency that the new Egyptian plans call for attacks on specific targets in the Strip and that Egyptian unmanned aerial vehicles recently overflew the territory and photographed a number of sites. According to the report, the UAV's mission was focused on Rafah and Khan Yunis cities along the Gaza Strip's southern border with Egypt. The Sinai has become a hotbed of terrorist activity since the overthrow of President Mohamed Morsi by General Abdel Fattah el-Sisi in July. Since then, the army has been cracking down on Morsi's Muslim Brotherhood, trying to undo its grip on some parts of the country. A torrent of attacks by gangs of al-Qaeda-inspired Islamic terrorists have killed over 100 Egyptian soldiers and policemen since Morsi's overthrow. At least one group in the region has officially declared loyalty to al-Qaeda, bringing the group's influence to Israel's southern border. Another day, another leak. One more Fukushima cooling tank pollutes the Pacific Ocean. Another cooling tank has sprung a leak at Japan's troubled Fukushima nuclear power plant. As in previous instances, the highly radioactive water is thought to be seeping directly into the Pacific Ocean. This is the second such incident in 2 months. Although the Tokyo Electric Power Company, TEPCO for short, has promised more accountability following a series of blunders in recent months, it has become clear to the Japanese government that the plant operator simply cannot deal with the problem on its own, forcing them to step in last month and start contributing funds. The newest leak amounts to about 430 liters of radioactive water spilling in a period of 12 hours. The water contained 200,000 becquerels per liter of strontium-90 and other harmful beta-emitting isotopes. That is tens of thousands of times more the legal 30 becquerel limit. While the plant operator has been pumping hundreds of tons of water a day over the damaged reactors to cool them in the aftermath of 2011 meltdowns, it also relied on makeshift water tanks above the ground to store excessive radioactive water. But they have been leaking on and off, which led to senior government spokesman Yoshihide Suga to tell reporters on Thursday that TEPCO's efforts at stemming the flow of contaminated water were insufficient. He added, however, that he believes the situation is under control. An alarming presence of radioactivity found by Pennsylvania Fracking Waste-water study. Researchers have found high levels of radioactivity, salts, and metals in water and sediment located downstream from a treatment facility which processes fracking wastewater from oil and gas production sites in Pennsylvania's Marcellus Shale Formation. A Duke University team analyzed water and sediment samples from the Josephine Brine Treatment Facility in Indiana County, Pennsylvania, finding radium levels 200 times greater than samples taken upstream from the plant and far higher than what's allowed under the Clean Water Act. Radium is a radioactive metal that can cause diseases like leukemia and other ill health effects if one is exposed to large amounts over time. The treatment facility processes flowback water, highly saline and radioactive wastewater that resurfaces from underground after being injected into rocks in the fracking or hydraulic fracturing process. Fracking is the extraction of oil and gas by injecting water to break up rock formations deep underground. Use of the process has increased rapidly in the U.S. in recent years, yet scientists who have studied the practice warn of climate-damaging methane gas emissions and radioactive effects that come with it. The study was published Wednesday in the Environmental Science and Technology Journal. It focuses on 2 years of tests on wastewater flowing through Blacklick Creek from oil and gas production sites in western Pennsylvania's Marcellus Shale Formation. For 2 years, the Duke team monitored sediment and river water above and below the treatment plant, as well as discharge coming directly from the plant for various contaminants and levels of radioactivity. In the discharge and downstream water, researchers also found high levels of chloride, sulfate, and bromide, which can interact with chlorine and ozone, used to disinfect river water for drinking, to create a toxic byproduct. The treatment removes a substantial portion of the radioactivity, but it does not remove many of the other salts, including bromide, said the co-author Avner Ben-Gosh, a Duke professor of geochemistry, adding that the traditional facilities like brine aren't made to remove these contaminants. Though the brine treatment facility strips some radium from the fracking wastewater, high levels of metal still accumulate in the sediment. In Luke chapter 21, Jesus said, "And there will be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and on the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and the expectation of those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Now when these things begin to happen, look up and lift up your heads, because your redemption draws near." Friends, we are living in the last days, and the closer we get to the return of Jesus Christ, the more end-time signs will become evident. That is to say, for those who watch. However, for those who do not watch, then it's likely to be a rude awakening. I hope you are watching, and more importantly, I hope you are saved. If you follow the link in the box below and pray the prayer of salvation with a sincere heart, you will be saved. May God bless you all.